Hi, everybody. Shannon here again. We've had a number of you reach out to us and ask about one of the people that contributes on a monthly basis to our magazine, Snohomish State Lifestyle, Amber Schultheis. She is a food blogger and the writer of that particular article every single month. People enjoy reading what she writes and then trying her recipes. And we had the opportunity to sit down with her and visit. We hope you enjoy.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here. I've, since we last, not the most recent conversation that we had, but as I've gotten to know you over the last several months, I knew that I wanted to sit down and visit with you a little bit more and do it on, and share that with our followers, social media and through the podcast. So thanks so much for joining us here.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing me out of my comfort zone a little bit again.
Well,
there's a theme developing.
That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's really good to be here and see your space and how you all are working. It's great.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to read what you contribute to the magazine every month too. But, you know, something that you and I have never talked about is really kind of where you came from, what in your past kind of prepared you for what you're doing right now. So what's the genesis of Amber? Where did you start? Give us a little background.
How far back do you want to go?
Well, we can go back to, you know, grade school, high school, maybe, whatever you prefer.
Sure.
Was it around here?
So I grew up in Central Washington in a little town called Selah, which is the apple juice capital of the world,
yes,
in
it is.
Case you want to know, and not to brag or anything. But so they're known because Treetop headquarters are there. And that's about all. That's what's going on. You know, I mean, it's a great little town to grow up in. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's pretty rural. So when I finished high school, I moved to Seattle and did the whole city life thing, and went to Seattle Pacific University, studied organizational communication, which has served me really well. It felt really general at the time, but actually it's been really useful. That's
actually pretty specific when given a communications degree. So many are just in general communications.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's great.
That's true. That's true. So, lived in Seattle for 16 years and kind of grew up, you know, there in my adulthood and got to explore a lot of different career paths and really figure out kind of what direction I wanted to be going.
Sure.
So, I started out, so I graduated in 2008 from SPU, and, you know, not a great time to enter the workforce as a recent graduate. Yeah. And the best work I could find at the time was at a bakery. And so I worked for a bakery, it no longer exists, sadly, but it's called the Flying Apron in Fremont, kind of the heart of Seattle there.
Sure.
And I made something like 1,200 pumpkin pie, vegan, gluten-free pumpkin pies one November. And just kind of stayed doing that for, about 2 years and loved it. Absolutely loved it. I don't think I've ever been happier, but also more broke. It was really hard.
Working in a bakery.
Yep.
You were baking.
Yeah.
Preparing and baking.
Yep.
Any customer-facing aspect of that? Or
yep. I made coffee as well. I also worked the Edmonds Farmers Market booth. And so I really gained an appreciation for farmers markets and local farmers and makers during that season. Oh my goodness. It's a lot of work and a lot of people don't realize how much goes into even just showing up at the farmer's market as a vendor is a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot of effort.
Yes, it is.
Behind the scenes. So ran the farmer's market. I convinced them to let me do some of their marketing so I could get some of my tactical, hands-on experience that I knew, because I knew at some point you got to pay back those student loans, right? So I knew at some point I was going to have to leave the comfort of this wonderful little bakery and go out and get a desk job, which I eventually did. And I've been working in marketing, product marketing in some capacity for, since then. So since like 2010.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And was your next step a huge departure from bakery or retail?
Yes.
It was
huge. Yeah. And I had worked when I was in college, I was a nanny and I also worked in fine dining. Like I was a hostess and a server, and really started to learn about hospitality etiquette, and started to catch that bug early as well. But yeah, when I moved on from hospitality at that point, it was a pretty big leap. Like I went and did temp work for Amazon corporate. I mean,
like
it was grunt work. It was like the modern equivalent of a call center, like by email, and but I knew that I needed to like figure out a way to make a living so that I could stay in Seattle, and it's pretty expensive to live over here, and so it was quite different from post college days.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah,
you bet. So where did your work take you? What can you mention some companies?
Sure. Yeah, so I started out working for Hearst Business Media, and at that time they were owned by Milliman, which is like an actuarial firm. So I worked there, started as like a receptionist, and grew into a product management coordinator over a few years. And then from there, I went and worked for a company that was a preferred vendor of Microsoft. So for all intents and purposes, I was a consultant who provided program management to their marketing teams. So I was really immersed in like EPG, like marketing teams for Microsoft in Bellevue, Redmond for about 8 years. I was there. And then I did some nonprofit work more recently, and then Dreambox Learning, which is the kind of a ed tech company. And then the last couple of years I spent as a marketing director for a media distribution company. So it seems kind of disparate, but actually there's a lot of overlap, because it's really all about marketing product and keeping everybody talking to each other to get a successful product out to market. So that's kind of, my last gig was with the media distribution company, and that ended in February of last year, which is when I went full time into the host notes.
Great. So, a company like Microsoft or others, they have a communications person for a particular product. Is that part of the marketing team? Or is it separate from marketing? Because
I think it depends.
You hear these
on the
roles.
company,
You hear these roles. I'm a product developer. I'm a marketing manager. Just a myriad of roles, especially the larger the company. But it's specific typically to a particular product. Right. And so trying to understand where people like yourself fit into that puzzle can be interesting.
It really can.
And difficult.
Definitely difficult. I mean, for a long time, when I was working as a Microsoft vendor, my primary role for the majority of my time there was to really be kind of the connector between technologists and designers, and helping them like communicate back to our business stakeholders, what our progress looked like. I mean, that's program management in a nutshell, I guess. But, helping that translation occur, because you've got the left brain and the right brain, and we've got to somehow bring that message together in a way that, the people investing in that project, they want to know, how are we tracking? Are we going to get what we paid for? And so I had to learn early on kind of how to speak both languages, the creative and the technical. And that was a hard learning curve for me, but also extremely helpful.
Incredibly valuable.
From there onward, it's been helpful. Everything that I've done. So,
So, as you know, we work with entrepreneurs on a regular basis. It's really an affinity of ours. We love entrepreneurs. And many of them are creatives. They do this thing really, really well. Right. Now they want to scale it. Okay. So talk a little bit about that dichotomy. It's challenging. Some of them really have a difficult time. Going from I can do this and I can do this really well to now I need to do this and do this really well for 100 clients or 50 clients or 5,000 clients. Talk about that.
Oh man, that's a big topic. I think one thing I would say is the reason, the why behind the scaling is so important.
There we go.
Because unless that's understood, then I think you can really get lost.
Yeah.
You know, going from a small business to a medium-sized business, even like that lift is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert in this space. This is more like I'm a newer entrepreneur, which I know we'll talk about. So I don't want to act like I have all the answers. I do not.
Of
I am
course, of
learning
course.
something new every single day, which
You
is
bet.
part of what I'm loving. But what I've observed, at least in technology and watching companies scale and being part of that growth, it's you have to be willing to fail
Sure.
and pivot and fail and pivot, right?
Yeah.
And really, while that's all happening, like listen to the feedback that you're getting, whether you want to hear it or not,
Oh, yeah.
about whether it's your products or your services that are out, having a way to get that messaging back so that you're growing in the right direction, I think is really important.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure where else to go with that, but I don't know. I think
That's
you go.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It gives us some insight going from that role to what is now new for you.
Yeah.
This entrepreneurial, you know, you saw it, you probably helped facilitate some of that. Now you've dipped your toe in it, right?
Yes.
And talk about that transition.
Well, I will say, I look back on my bakery days, right, which is like a long time ago at this point, but I think about the people, the patrons that came through
Yep.
that I connected with most, and the
Yep.
ones that I admired most,
Sure.
and they were all small business owners.
Yeah.
And it was because they had this passion and they had this zest, and yeah, they were tired, and yeah, they were like, you know, working ridiculous hours, but they were driving towards their own dream.
Yeah.
And I just always have admired that so much, and I've always wanted to be in that club.
Hmm.
But until recently, I'm so risk averse, Shannon. Have you caught on to that? Like, I want to know, well, what's it going to be like? Show me the roadmap.
Yeah.
And that's just not how entrepreneurship works. Now, fortunately, we live in a world where education is everywhere and you can teach yourself a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be an entrepreneur in this era of time, because otherwise, I mean, I would be just absolutely lost, right? There's just so much.
Yes.
But I don't know where I'm going with this exactly, but I think dipping my toe into entrepreneurship has been really eye-opening. One, it's proven what I already knew to be true, that like you have to have grit, you have to have vision, you've got to have an amazing community.
Yeah.
Without all of those things, it's going to be really easy to give up.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of days where I'm just like, what am I doing? Where am I going? You know,
Oh, yeah.
and then I'll have a week where I'm like, no, I know exactly where I'm going.
Absolutely.
And, you know, but it just, you have to be able to ride that out, the doubt, the self-doubt, the doubt that, you know, that the world wants what you're trying to build, all of that. It's an art, I think, to block out the noise and just hone in on what you want to create.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. No, I think a lot of people identify with that wanting to know. I want to know what it's going to be like. I want to know. And some things you just can't know until you do them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or until you attempt them. Oh, that wasn't right. And so, yeah, one of the things that I've always appreciated about entrepreneurs is their willingness to step out and go forward without knowing.
Right.
Right. And, you know, the whole purpose of what we do with the magazine and with the social media work that we do and videography and all of that is to help those entrepreneurs, you know, share a little of themselves as a human being, person to person.
Right.
Because you can build this great brand.
Right.
But people buy from people.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Especially until you get to the point where you scale and now there's a relationship with the brand.
Right.
Right.
Right. But it has to start with the person and a connection.
It
right?
absolutely does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And even, you know, mid-sized businesses that have got people, you know, in all of these departments, and they've got a communications person, they've got a marketing person, and maybe they've got, you know, one for each product that they're developing, like we were talking about before.
Right.
They're still people,
Yeah.
right? And until you get scaled to the point where, again, they've got the relationship more with the brand than they do with the people, you have that dynamic.
Yeah.
So we want to give them a voice, and we enjoy doing that. We want to, you know, help water that seed, if you will, that they see in the magazine every single month, and create that relationship between them and their product, their service, what they do, what they add to the community, and our readers. So I'm always asking these questions to find out, with those who come on the podcast, you know, what are some of the basic things that you need to be doing that are super important early on to market yourself,
Right.
I mean, marketing is this umbrella of things.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But as a small entrepreneur, of which you are, you're now in that club, right?
Yeah.
So what have you found that's really important for you to do on a regular basis, even though it might be a little outside your comfort zone?
Yeah.
But you have to do it anyway because it's where you need to be.
I would say there are a few things. One, saying yes to things that you're not quite sure you're ready for.
Sure.
Which, again,
Welcome
thank
to
you
the
for
show.
always. I feel like the Coy family is forever bringing me into spaces that I'm like, are you sure? Okay, I'll give it a go. But having that attitude and pushing through the fear or the doubt or the uncertainty is huge. For example, I was hesitant to come onto a podcast. I'm like, what am I going to say? My story is not even fully baked, you know, but also stories are interesting at every stage. I have to remind myself. And, you know, this amazing creative space, I don't know when I would have seen this, or, you know, there's just, you don't know what room you'll find yourself in or who you'll meet by saying yes to a thing that you're not quite sure where it's going to go, right?
Right.
So yeah, saying yes to uncomfortable things is key. The other is finding places to network where you can understand what's happening in your community. So for me, it's been the Snohomish Chamber of Commerce.
Sure.
Because Nancy has done so much to develop and grow that organization. I mean, just the number of, if I need a roofer, I know who to go to. If I need a plumber, you know, if I want to work on like improving my website, there's somebody there, and it's amazing to just have a really organic way to have conversations about what everyone needs in their business, wherever they're at in that journey. And just have resources available that genuinely want to help each other out.
You bet.
So that's been huge, is joining a network that I just forever get value out of, whether it's a luncheon or a mixer or, you know, whatever. And frankly, that's all I have time for, is like once a month or something right now, because there are so many thriving organizations in our community, and I would love to be part of all of them, but it's just sort of like, you know, making it all fit is a tough thing. But yeah, so finding your network, your community, getting out of your comfort zone, saying yes to things that you're not ready for. And other than that, I mean, I think when I'm creatively in a rut, it's probably because I need to create more. Mm-hmm. And like waiting for the momentum is not the answer. You have to actually just push yourself to go do the thing, like whether it's writing or maybe I'm developing a new recipe or whatever the case may be. Doing more of that thing will motivate me to do more of that thing, right? Yeah. So just learning how to get yourself inspired, because it's not just gonna come to you. Yeah. It's not always gonna, you're not gonna wake up and jump out of bed and you're like, I'm living the dream, you know? Right. Not always.
Yeah. And you know, we appreciate the good times because of those times of struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we all have them. Everybody has them, regardless of what you might see on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody has those moments of doubt, those moments of you know, lack of momentum, lack of energy, lack of inspiration. So to know where to go to the well and find that, I love what you said. I just need to create more. I need to create more.
Yeah.
That's magic, I think, right there.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah. The more you do of what you love, the more you want to do of what you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you back burner it, side burner it, you keep pushing it off, it's really hard to find that within yourself, find that motivation.
So doing what you love,
Yeah.
right? You've dipped your toe in the water and you're finding yourself. Talk about the host notes.
Okay.
And I could, talk about you glowingly because of what you contribute to our magazine every single month. By the way, we've got people now that are commenting. I look so forward to the recipes.
Really?
Oh, it's really fun.
Shannon, that makes my day.
It's super fun.
Thank you.
Super fun.
Thanks for telling me that.
You're welcome. And so talk about the host notes.
Sure.
Where did it come from? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah.
And kind of finding your way.
Yeah. So the host notes, it was kind of a project that I started. I want to say it was like 2019, 2020, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Started as just like an Instagram handle where I would post pictures of pretty cakes that I made, or like, a friend would ask me to make a birthday cake. And so I'd take a shady photo of it and like put it up there for no one to look at. And
it's grainy.
Yeah, just like the worst, but who cares? And it was just kind of a creative outlet. I started blogging around that time as well. My first blog, it's hideous, but I'll tell you what it is anyway. It's called The Roslyn House, her Roslyn House blog, I think. And I haven't even looked at it in years, but that's when I really started writing as an outlet and for pleasure, not just journaling, but like telling stories that had roots and meaning and layers to them.
Sure.
In that case, it's really personal stuff about just grief and about, diving into a home repair project as a way of dealing with loss and grief. And so you have to read it for yourself.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it was this interesting, I could go down a really long rabbit hole. I'm trying not to, but there's history around this this house that I decided to work with my dad on to rebuild it, basically gut it, renovate the inside, and so it could be usable again for our family. And that happened in tandem with losing someone really dear to me. And that was in 2019. I started writing about that as a way to make sense of it. And I just saw this interesting alignment with like rebuilding a house and loss. And it was just like a way of moving forward. So all that to say, I also started dating my wonderful husband in 2019, and he loved to read what I would write. And he was a real encourager of me, still is. And, he would say like, what have you written lately? Can I read what you wrote? See, I told you I might break down.
I like it.
I mean, that's how I knew he was my husband, because he just saw me and he wanted to bring out the light in me. He wanted to bring out the things that I, love to do.
Yeah.
So I started writing more.
Sure.
And the host notes kind of became like, oh, this is like my cooking stuff. And this is where like I develop recipes now a little bit more. And it was the premise of the host notes, like in terms of just the name, it's meant to be like, here are my notes as someone who has liked to host, who has hosted a lot in different capacities.
Sure.
Both in a sense of, hosting dinner parties, sure, in my 20s, maybe less so now.
Yeah.
But hosting my family day to day, what does that look like now?
Right.
Hosting guests from out of town who are going through a big life change. I mean, hospitality and hosting looks different depending on what's going on in our lives. We cannot expect frilly dinner parties at every stage, right? So it's really about authenticity and intentionality in hosting and in hospitality. And so I started, wanting to write more about that. And, food is kind of the catalyst for having that conversation of what is hospitality? What does it mean to feel seen and cared for? Which is what I think and believe hospitality is. It's not about, when someone invites you to their home for a dinner party, for example, or just a casual dinner, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be like, wow, this is the fanciest thing I've ever seen. Like, knock my socks off, right? Like that's great. Like maybe, but actually, I think notice the subtle things,
Sure.
the intentionality.
Yeah.
I notice. So when I host people in my space, I want them to feel like I thought about them.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to show them how great my life is.
There we go. And that's a subtlety,
Yes,
I think, right?
it is. And
Yeah.
it's controversial in the food blogger space.
Oh, I imagine.
Well, it comes up because I have really talented peers that they just do. They make these elaborate tablescapes and I'm not above it. I will do it. It's fun. It's but it's not, to me, it's not the heart of hospitality.
Sure.
That would be more for me than anybody else. The creating of it would be fun, right?
Yep.
But it's not to be showy or to be a spectacle. It's to be to honor them in your space.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something about sharing a meal.
Yeah.
Between 2 people, 4 people, that adds a layering, if you will, to the relationship that is absent without the food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that I love the word hospitality because of what it means.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, it's not just food. It's often not even around food. It's how you are with someone.
Yeah.
Right? Are you hospitable? Is it a welcoming? Is it authentic? Is it genuine care for each other? Right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think that's what I think of.
Yeah.
When I want to hear the word hospitality. So
same.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, from a young age, I have felt pulled to bring people together and to host, in a sense. Even I remember family gatherings when I was still living at home as a kid. And I would walk into the room, let's say it's, I don't know, Mother's Day brunch, it's timely. But I would notice that the ham hasn't been put into the oven and we're supposed to eat in 30 minutes. I'm like 10 years old and I'm aware of it. Yeah, part of it is that I'm a little bit type A, but also just I would notice my brother just said he's hungry, but the ham's not even in the oven and none of the food's ready or whatever. And then I would just want to make it happen. And I just was in me to I want to feed these people, or I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and loved. And so, for whatever reason, I've just always felt pulled to do that. So the host notes, that's the heart of it. This is hospitality. This is about making people feel seen, cared for, and thought about. And there are so many ways to do that through food, surrounding food. And there are ways as well to uplift other small businesses while I'm doing that. So while I'm doing more of what I love, I can support others doing the same, right?
Right on.
So I think about collaborative recipe development. That's something that, is kind of on the horizon for the host notes, as we're looking at different ways that, small businesses don't always have a full marketing team. And if I'm jumping ahead, you let me know.
No, that's beautiful. That's excellent transition.
But this is it's something that it's kind of evolved. My mindset around it has evolved because while I'm starting a recipe blog, which is very nuanced, and we could have a long conversation about SEO and all the things that it requires to build something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of over here. And it's kind of, let's think of that as a library or a database of recipes that I can pull from.
Sure.
And all these other opportunities are out here to partner with other small businesses and collaborate and support them. So, where am I going with this? I don't know, actually. I'm trying to kind of explain how something goes from, I like to write and I like to cook and I like to bring people together, to, I'm actually a storyteller who has a real passion for community. And so like bringing that all together, that's kind of what the Host Notes is becoming.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm probably rambling.
No, that's okay. No,
that's what post-production's for, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So have you seen or found kind of, a lot of entrepreneurs have got a vision of what it is that they want, and it comes from seeing someone else do what they're doing.
Sure.
Okay. So is there a inspirational entrepreneur kind of behind this idea that's driving you to utilize genuine hospitality to help other business owners create something that is kind of difficult to put your finger on? Is there an inspiration for this?
I would say, for me, I mean, there are a lot of hospitality brands out there. There are a lot of food bloggers and recipe developers and chefs and all these things, right? And all these personalities. And I have a few that I kind of look to go like, wow, their roadmap was interesting, right? Where you can start as, so like Gabi Dalkin of What's Gabi Cookin'. She's a great example where she started as like throwing her family recipes up on a blog. And this is 15 years ago. So like, it doesn't work the same way now, unfortunately, for better or for worse. But, and she's evolved that into a full-on lifestyle brand. She's got her own spice products, spice blends that she sells. She's got partnerships with larger distributors like, I don't know if it's Crate and Barrel or Williams, something like that, right? There's all these different ways you can go when you've got a foundation and you understand like what you're about, what drives you, and what you love to do.
Sure.
So I would say I kind of look at it like that, where I'm building this foundation that there are a lot of different paths that can go. So I don't know that I have one inspiration, but it's more just, again, like saying yes to things that might feel like I'm not quite ready for that, seeing where it takes me, and then just like paying attention. Like, does this open up other opportunities?
Sure.
So while I have a vision, it is malleable.
Yeah.
It's flexible.
Yeah.
There's certain things that might not be in terms of my time and my priorities around my family, but there's so many things I can do with this if I can be patient and diligent and keep learning all the time.
Yeah.
But
so it's kind of like, it sounds to me anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like, here I'm doing what I love, right? And I love doing it. I'm just going to do more and more of it. But as a result, I'm documenting this. And oh, by the way, there's this thing called YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And people now get to see me do whatever I'm doing, and you build this following. It sounds similar to that.
Yeah, it can be about the following, or it can be about, I'll give you one example, and I don't even know that this is a goal of mine, but it could be. Let's say I wanted to write a cookbook. Well, publishers now want you to sell your own cookbook.
Sure.
So, okay, well, how many followers do you have?
Sure.
And it's like, seriously? I mean, you really got to build your own foundation, your own fan base, your whole thing to go publish a book. Doesn't have to be a cookbook, right?
Yeah, they don't want to make the heavy lift.
Yeah, they do not. Like, if you're going to do it, why would we pay somebody to do it?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And on the one hand, I respect it. On the other hand, it feels kind of, like it makes it very competitive. It makes it, of course, a person can self-publish. Well, that's a different avenue. And it's a very different revenue outcome and effort. Anyway, that's one example, right? Where it's a tough thing. Social media is tough for me. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I understand the necessity of it. There are things I really enjoy. I love the community aspect of it. But it also, I don't want to spend my whole life on my phone. I want to be living my life, not watching other people's lives,
Absolutely.
So that balance is really tricky, especially when it's designed to suck you in and keep you there.
Sure.
So I'll say, I don't want it to be about likes, follows, subscribers. I'm also a business-minded individual, and I go, that has to be part of the equation if you want to grow something in this economy in
Yep.
this way of working.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to keep it feeling, I want it to remain authentic, even though we all have to kind of play a bit of the game,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I think it's much of it is learning the layers of the game,
Yeah.
and then identifying, okay, I can see where that would impact us. That would be beneficial for those who are viewing us or following us or are buying from us.
Yeah.
And then not worrying about how well you're playing a layer of the game, right?
Sure.
You so many business owners, I think, get caught up in some of the things we've talked about, followers and likes and this, that, and the other, when really creating an experience for a customer that is second to none, that real hospitality piece of it, that is second to none, would cause that customer to come back. Well, now you've duplicated something that's really very simple. You can now do what it is that you want to do, what you're good at,
Yeah.
what you're gifted at, and you have an amazing team to deliver that,
Right.
instead of worrying about whether or not you have the same likes as someone who's similar to you in the same space.
I heard something recently that really spoke to me because I struggle with this a lot, where it's very easy to get caught up in like a comparison game or like,
Yeah.
oh, I should be further ahead than this. Like, you know, and it's very difficult to get out of that mindset if you start
Yes.
down that rabbit hole. But the thing that I read was that comparison is very different than inspiration.
Yes.
So
much.
if I see someone who's doing something that I want to be doing, I should look at that and go, that person's my teacher.
Yep.
That person's a potential collaborator.
Yep.
I can learn from them. We can help each other. And the moment you start looking at it and go, oh, well, she's got this many followers, whatever, it's like, you're really going down a losing road. There's nowhere good, you know.
Well,
it's
there's
just not
always going to be
helpful.
someone at that next level.
Always. And that's a good thing, because we
it's a great
should
thing.
see what the forward path can look like, right? Oh,
Absolutely.
you want to know what it's going to look like. Well,
Yeah.
here's some different examples,
Yeah.
right? But that's a mindset thing. And you got to be really diligent to make
Yeah.
sure you don't get sucked into the
Well,
comparison game.
and being out there, being that trailblazer, that's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're doing the same thing. You're finding your way on your own, and granted you're failing forward, but you're the first one doing this. You don't have someone who's already gone down that path to kind of show you the way.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I always like to visit with our guests about is, thriving in chaos. And
That's why you brought me here today.
So, this idea of thriving, right?
Yeah.
But yet the reality of chaos.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's because, we have a say in the environment that we co-create, but we don't have the say, right? There's other people that have something to say about it as well.
Sure.
So chaos is on its way. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It might not be right now, but talk a little bit about your perspective as it relates to how it's possible to thrive in a chaotic environment.
Well,
I ask these. I'm most inspired by the moms
oh, sure.
that I
Okay.
interview,
Yeah.
right? Because you moms are amazing. We didn't find Osama bin Laden for 10 plus years because we didn't have a mom on the job. Right? Mom would have found him in about a couple of days.
Right.
But you ladies are really amazing in, I think, the executive function that you all have is really astounding. You can juggle a lot of things, but you can also see the impact on an area of your life from another area of your life. And so
Yeah.
I think the grace with which you ladies, you moms especially, are able to thrive even in a chaotic world is pretty inspiring.
I would say from like the perspective of a parent, I think, oh my goodness, Honestly, I don't know that I would have made it as far as I have in my entrepreneurial journey if I wasn't a mom. And I say that knowing that there's a little bit of a contradiction that I'm about to unveil. And that is, I have less time to work with,
Yep.
and therefore I have to make the most of it.
Yep.
It requires me to learn how to focus when I don't want to, or when there's so much happening that it's tough to do that.
Sure.
And I would also say, for me, it's always been really important that my son see me as a strong woman who is going after what she wants.
Sure.
Because that's the kind of woman I want him to marry.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, if he so chooses to get married at some point in his life. I'm not trying to project. I'm just saying that,
Sure,
like, you know,
sure.
he's 13. Come on.
Yeah.
But when I think about what I want for him, I want him to not be intimidated by strong women.
Yes.
I want him to know that even when I'm, 110 years old, that I worked hard,
You bet.
that I was smart and resourceful, and that I went after what I loved.
Sure.
Because kids who are raised by entrepreneurial parents, it's in them,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur, and it's wild because I wasn't actually raised by him. But the more time I spent with him as an adult, I'm going, we're the same. I mean,
Yeah.
and he warned me. He said,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
gonna just know, if you're gonna go into business for yourself, you're gonna be unemployable very quickly. And I said,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
tell me more.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, you're gonna like it, because
Yes.
there's all this room for creativity, whatnot. Anyway, I digress. But being a mom has helped me prioritize my dreams.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would also say, just back to your question about thriving in chaos, thriving is relative. We all should define what thriving looks like for us, right? But I like what you said, that it might not be chaotic right now, but the chaos is coming. That's a little bit like ominous, but also real.
It is. Yeah, it is real.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm turning 40 this year, and that feels big. It feels big and important for whatever reason. It's just another year, but it feels big and important because I'm older than I've ever been. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh my gosh, there's not infinite time to do the things we want to do. And so, yeah, I know that big, difficult things are coming down the line. I'm in the middle of a number of things that I didn't expect to have to deal with for another 20 years, but it's here.
Yeah.
And so I have a choice.
Yeah.
Do I want to wallow in that and stand still and put off my dreams because there's no space for them? Or do I go, no, my dreams are at the heart of our life,
That's right.
of our family, just like, my husband's dreams, my son's dreams, they're all at the heart of what we're trying to create. And everything else we have to deal with, and we will deal with it.
Yeah.
But there's no other option. You can't just stop because life's crazy.
There you go.
You cannot.
Right there.
Nothing beautiful will ever be made in the world if people stopped when things got hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're challenged all the time.
Yeah.
And just because something is hard doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
It just means it's hard.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's there to teach you something. It's going to give you, and this sounds maybe a little bit trite because, I mean, when you're in the thick of a crisis or a loss or whatever the case may be, illness, what have you, it's hard to see it as a lesson or as a gift, but the gift is there.
Without a doubt.
Every time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Could not agree more. That was well said.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Once in a while, my thoughts come out the way I intend them to,
So it sounds to me like there's been some pretty influential people in your life. You mentioned your dad and whatnot. So let's say you had an opportunity to meet and spend 30 minutes with one person, any person. Who would it be and why?
Oh, man. I saw this question and I thought, I don't know if I have an answer to that. I don't know. I don't know that there's one person. I think okay, this is going to sound disconnected, but it's true, so I'll say it anyway. But this is more of an answer to a different question, which would be like, if money were no object, what would you do? People used to ask me that when I was in the thick of my career that was helpful but soul sucking.
Yep.
And I would always say like, oh, I would travel the world and cook in the kitchens of grandmothers.
Oh, wow.
Because there's the wisdom and the knowledge and the art, like all of it culminating in one space where you're going to learn the most about that culture, about that family, or, you know, what have you. And then you get to eat delicious food. But I have a great grandmother a great grandmother who I never met, and she's Swedish, and she used to ride horses like bareback. I don't know much about her other than that, and that she was kind of mean. And but I would love to meet her.
Sure.
I would love to talk with her and understand what her life looked like, you know? She had grit. That's what we know. Yeah.
Well, I love that picture that you just painted for, you know, cooking in the kitchens of grandmothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you learn there? Look at. I mean, just imagine what you'd learn there.
Everything.
Not only how to prepare, but how to host, how to, you know, what they do to, you know, make this upcoming, you know, moment together as a family worthwhile. Right?
Yeah.
The culture in general, the time in history, right? There's just so much right there.
What's important to that family? What's, you know, what are the stories? Yeah, I love a good story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We can't do this all day.
No?
So.
Oh, I thought.
What advice would you give to an 18-year-old yourself at 18 years old, based on what you know now that you're approaching 40?
Invest in yourself. The right people will find you. Yeah.
Which means what? Talk about that.
I think that when I think about like 18 to 30 even, at least in my life, was so much about trying to figure everything out, you know, instead of just really reflecting and looking at like, how do I want to be spending my time?
Sure.
It just was so much more about like, sounds extreme, but like, kind of survival mode, or how do I build? How do I make sure that I'm okay? And instead of allowing the space for creativity and wonder. But I think too, when I say invest in yourself, I think what I mean is take time to explore and understand what you're being called to do. Where your pull, where is that? You know, where are you being pulled to serve or work?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. You know, we invest in a myriad of things, right? But to you know, really be intentional about developing this range of experiences that can speak to the direction of your future. I think is super valuable.
Same.
Well, awesome. I want to thank you for doing this. I know you were a bit apprehensive, and I get
it's not you, Shannon, it's me.
It's a bit of me, but I'm so glad that you were willing to do this, and I can't wait to follow your journey as you continue to do this and see what you write for the next issue of our magazine.
I can't wait.
And we'll do this again.
Okay.
It's the people that live here and in our community that make it a great place to live and work and raise a family. And we think you're one of those.
Oh,
so
thanks for saying that. Thanks for bringing us all together.
You're welcome.
Great.